Okay. I'm going to reduce this. This looks like a high quality nodule, but it's small, right? So it's still going to be a little bit difficult. So I'm going to try to reduce this one from start to finish. Okay? Might have better results with this since it looks to be a little bit higher quality. We'll see. Well, I can already see that there's going to be issues. There's some, I don't know, heat damage or something from it, or on it. But I'm going to be napping everything that I do. Okay, as I stated in the previous video series, break or no break, I'm napping everything that I'm going to do. Everything that I'm doing. I'm going to just film everything. How's that? These can be utilized, for those of you who don't know. I can make arrowheads. If you don't know what I'm doing, if you have no idea, I'm breaking rocks to make arrowheads out of it. Chipping the rocks in a certain way, that's called flint napping. Flint napping. And I'll be doing landscape stones. Landscape type stones. Not all of these were obtained from landscape supply yards necessarily, right? But you can find these at landscape supply yards in Texas anyway. At least in Texas you can. This is the type of stuff you can find in landscape supply yards. You can also find them on ranches and other places, because that's where landscape supplies find the gravels. They find them from different properties around the state. A lot of this stuff is on the surface, so it could be surface fire damage, you know, brush fire damage or something, but it doesn't feel heat treated. It doesn't feel heat treated necessarily. It's still kind of tough. So some of these cortical flakes are not very usable because of the crazing. But in a lot of cases, you can save the cortical flakes. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not bad. If you're saying it naps nicely, you're not wrong. Okay, so let me stop there. I'm not trying to make a hand axe. I am not. But look what I've made without trying. I've made a hand axe. But all I'm doing is I'm starting on one end and working my way around. But if I stop here and bury it for later, thinking, yeah, this is good material, I'm just going to stop here and go on to the next. Someone might dig this up later in the archaeological profession and say, this is a hand axe, when it isn't. Okay? This is just a biface stored for later. And the reason why I mention this is because you'll encounter assumptions that are not correct. So I just remove the cortex from here so I can, feel satisfied that I removed the cortex, and I'm going to go around and remove it on the other areas. But if I stop there and save it and bury it, I might lose track of it, and someone else might come along in the future and dig it up and say, this is a hand axe chopper. No, this is not. This is just in the middle of the process of reduction. I just started from one end. Okay? That's all. Okay. I just want to get that out of the way. I always forget to mention that. I can stop in the middle of the process and show you that it might be looking like a different kind of tool, when all it is in the process of making something else. Now when I dull this, and then if I put it away now, they're going to say, this is a well-used hand axe. Look at all the use wear. No. It's just the delicate edges are taken off because if I'm burying it and digging it up, I don't want to cut myself. I'm going to dig it up. I'm also preparing the edges for the next series of strikes. Okay? All right. Just want to get that out of the way. Okay. A lot more to it than meets the eye. I'm still a little bit bummed that I didn't get a point out of this. Still a little bit bummed. I need to find a really crappy piece again. This isn't much better, but it's smaller, so it's still kind of difficult until I get the biface. It's a little bit difficult at this stage because it's hard to hold on to. I have to really hit it fast and hard and use the weight and the mass and the resistance to movement of this piece against itself. The faster I hit, the slower it reacts, and that helps impart energy to the strike because there's some resistance here, not only from my hand but from the weight of the workpiece itself. Okay? Fast, brisk hits. And yeah, I can use those flakes. I can hand these off to somebody and they can use them for cutting and whatnot. Or if I'm one of those late prehistoric nappers, these can be made into arrow points, arrowheads. Okay, here we go. I have to be very careful that I hit exactly right there. And it took off almost what I wanted. A little bit too much, but it's still okay. I may be able to get a point out of this pretty quickly, maybe. As long as that crazing doesn't affect it too much. C-R-A-Z-I-N-G. I think that's how you spell it. I think I have another really cruddy piece of landscape type stone that I can use to demonstrate how to make a point out of the really bad material. Try to go as thin as possible. Again, it feels good to have freedom on this side to really wind up and strike this, because that's what it needs to remove these flakes, because it's hard to hold on to. It doesn't have much mass to it, so it moves a lot. If you go slow, you can feel the shock. If you slow down with these strikes, you can feel the shock. But if you speed them up, you can use the weight of the preform or the workpiece itself against itself. Okay. Yeah, that one was weird. Still an undetached flake in there. Okay. I might be able to, I might be able to run another good flake right there. Well, maybe. I don't know what I'm going to call these. Landscape stones, number 1, number 2. I don't know. We'll see. The videos. I need to name these videos in a way that it makes sense. to people who don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, so at this stage, that's the end of the direct percussion. For me, I don't feel I need to go any further with the direct percussion. I'm going to switch over. Okay. So I wrote down a bunch of notes, but I'm not looking at my notes. What do I have in my notes? What can I talk about while I'm doing this? Instead of winging it, I could just look at my notes now. But I forget that I lose my train of thought if I had to do something else. Like if I had to reach over there and get my notes. It breaks the mojo. I'll wait till I have a stopping point. Ouch. Look at that. Look at it. Okay, I've got to start thinking that I don't have the camera in front of me. Yeah. I've got to start thinking that I don't have the camera in front of me and just nap like I normally would. Believe it or not, being safe on camera isn't always conducive to success. Even though it is most of the time, it can distract me just enough and make me hesitate just enough that I end up with a step fracture where I don't want one. And I'm going with the flow on this break here. No big deal. Because I have not decided what I'm going to make. I'm just going to make something from the landscape stone. It's raw, not heat treated. You can heat treat the small landscape stones of that size. This may have been damaged by fire, but none of it feels, and none of it is working like it was thermally altered. It feels like it's a non-thermally altered piece of rock. Now, if I try to heat treat this, in my experience, it breaks up even worse. If it's already got breakage in it, it'll break up even worse. Although the parts that don't break up will be nice and easy to nap. Yeah. I think it's starting to rain. Let me check here in a minute. Let me check. Yeah, let me pause the video.